Here at Daytona, so I never drove the cars with the big spoiler on the back. I don't think that I've ever ran the cars with that size of a rear spoiler. So I was pretty taken aback yesterday while we were drafting just how much drag is on the car. The cars don't really produce runs like I was anticipating or like I was expecting. In years past, or in the 20 years or so that I raced here at Daytona, you could develop some momentum or get a run or create a run, whether it was off the energy of a car behind you or whatever it was, and that run would maybe last a half a lap. That momentum or speed or extra boost might last more than half a lap, but whatever however long it lasted, it gave you this ability to, like, okay, I'm gonna make a move with this. This is some good momentum, and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna side draft a couple cars and continue that momentum and use it to pass. And I don't know if I feel like that with as much drag as these cars have, that they create that type of opportunity. You just sort of are stuck where you're at, and I didn't feel like when I was out there in the pack that I was able to develop a run in the traditional sense. You're kind of just there. And I think the only real way that I saw guys making anything happen for themselves was to put people three wide, which I think that's kind of how this Daytona 500 is going to look. You're going to see side-by-side, double file, until guys are tired of doing that, and then they're going to be three wide. And I think at the end of the race, there'll be tons of three wide. But there's so much drag on these cars. I was really surprised at how much drag is on the car. But the steering is very fast. It feels one-to-one. If anybody's ever raced a go-kart, I use that that's an analogy I'd compare it to. I know not everybody's drove a go-kart, but when when you go through the corner here in the older cars, or you're side drafting or whatever you're doing to try to move the car around the racetrack or across the racetrack, you're going to turn the wheel about a fifth in this car. So the very surgical, somebody used that term yesterday, and I think that's a great way to describe it. It's very, very delicate, very, very small movements with the steering wheel are going to give you the same reaction in the car that a big movement or a lot of movement in the wheel would in the old car. And I think the one thing that's something to kind of pay attention to and keep your ear to the ground to is all of us that drove these cars for all these years with the manual steering box, and you get muscle memory. When your car gets loose, you got an idea. It's instinctual. You don't even have to think about it, of how much to turn the wheel to correct that slide, to catch the car, to get over to that guy's quarter panel who's a couple lanes across the racetrack on the back straightaway. You know what to do with the steering wheel to get there without hitting him, but get right next to him and get everything you can out of that side draft. And I think you got to relearn all of that with the rack and pinion. You can't rely on that muscle memory or that instinct, and some guys will, to a fault, make those type of adjustments that they've made all these years and overdo it, and that could get interesting and a little messy in the race.